So, what's the deal with Manaphy? One of Sinnoh's many mythical Pokemon, Manaphy has always seemed to be one that stands out, having its own unique egg and distribution method, but not really having a story in-game like the others. Though there seem to be some new developments, as Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl actually seem to have some information. At the good old Canalav City Library, a new story can be found on the second floor. It reads as follows. This book is titled The Sea's Legend. It's a text that was only recently discovered, and its ancient letters were decoded. Once upon a time, in the East Sea, there was a Pokemon known as the Prince. A brave human asked Pokemon in the sea to let him see the prince. Mantike, Weasel, and a Quillfish with huge spikes acknowledged the human's bravery and joined them. Together they set off in a boat over the sunset-streaked sea, sailing through the ocean gate stretched over the waves. News of this reached the ears of the prince, who went to meet the brave little party at the seaside hollow. It seems that this story is pretty obviously about Manaphy, so let's look at it line by line. First of all, the description of the book states that it was only recently discovered and decoded. That reminds me a lot of the situation with Hisui and Zoroark's reveal, as the video was stated to be found in the Canalav City Library. So it's likely that there are a bunch of documents from this era of Hisui that have been in the library for years, and they're just now being gone through and decoded. It would be neat if that's the case and Manaphy got some extra story in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It would fit with Manaphy's overall theme of being greatly affected by the environmental aspects. The Hisui region is one that's rapidly changing as humans and Pokemon continue to interact. And as I discussed with the Hisuian variants, development of humans could have caused certain Pokemon to stop appearing in modern Sinnoh. With Manaphy likely already having mythical status even back then, it could have been driven to more obscurity and even near extinction. The next line says that there was a Pokemon known as the Prince living in the East Sea. This is what leads me to believe that the story is about Manaphy, as it's been called the Prince way back in the movie it debuted in, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. The East Sea would be this portion of Hisui and modern-day Sinnoh. It's interesting that we now know Manaphy comes from the East, while the Shellos of Sinnoh in the East are blue as opposed to pink. Just a funny observation. But next, the story describes a brave human and some Pokemon who journey across the sea to meet the prince. If this story really did come from the time of Hisui, it would be neat if this human turns out to be the player character, Ray or Akari. Mantike, Weasel, and Quillfish can all be found in Sinnoh, although the fact that Quillfish is described as having huge spikes could be a hint at a Hisuian variant, though it is also just a cool way to describe Quillfish as part of this story, so I'm not entirely sure about that. But the fact that Quillfish is the odd Pokemon out from these three, Mantike and Weasel being Generation 4 Pokemon, and Quillfish being Generation 2, it could be likely. They set off on their journey and meet the prince at the Seaside Hollow. If you're wondering, this isn't a location previously mentioned in Pokemon, and it's capitalized like it would be an important location. Looking at the map of Hisui, there's definitely a huge area to the east bordering the ocean. There's this large bay that could have a location like that inside it, or around it. We've seen some suspicious looking rocks in the trailers as well as some old shipwrecks. And if these are shipwrecks, that either means they were used by people coming to the region, or they could have been failed attempts to explore the surrounding waters from people who currently live in Hisui, coming back in shambles after meeting whatever could be in the ocean. I don't have too much else specific to say about these, and don't really know if they connect to Manaphy and the Seaside Hollow, but they at least tell us that something has been going on as far as sea exploration. But that's really all we can take from this story. It being one of the only new pieces of lore added to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it really sticks out. Whether it's just meant as an extra piece to flesh out Manaphy since it's been brought back as a mystery gift, or it's meant to set up for something in Legends Arceus, I'm definitely intrigued. It might make sense to have a Manaphy event set in the past rather than the other Sinnoh mythical Pokemon events, as it's the most mysterious and likely been affected by environmental changes. Whatever the case is, the answer lies out there in the Eastern Sea. But anyway, hey, this is GatorX, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, let me know how your journey through Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is going so far. If you'd like to show your support, you can leave a like and subscribe. And I'm also on Twitter if you'd like to follow me there as well. But anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.